Hi, I am Ben Gibson, and I will be discussing the proxemics theory by Edward Hall. Proxemics is a term that he uses to describe the interrelated observations and theories of man's use of space as a specialized elaboration of culture. The theory goes like this. The distance between people in an interaction is determined by the cultural norms for distance and the intimacy shown between the persons. Hall compares this theory to animals, which are territorial. Hall says that we mark our territory by things like fences and furniture, and that we only allow people closer to us based on the level of intimacy with them. He says that these zones differ for contact and non-contact regions. The contact regions are those of Arab nations, Latin America, and Southern Europe, while non-contact regions include America, North Europe, and Oriental nations. The first zone is public distance. This zone starts 10 feet from yourself and moves out to infinity. This zone allows all people to be included, but it is hard to read emotions on the other person, and it is almost impossible to become emotionally connected with another person. Examples of this would be lecture halls and mass meetings. The second zone is the social distance, and that ranges from 4 to 10 feet. This is an impersonal zone. If someone is ranging towards the middle or far part of this range, it is culturally okay to ignore or disengage from conversation from them. This would be like if you're at Meller's and you don't actually have to acknowledge the people sitting at the next table. And if you are in a conversation with someone over there, it is easy to disengage from conversation because you have that distance between you guys. The third zone is the personal distance, and that ranges from 18 inches to 4 feet. Generally, the only physical touch in this range is the socially typical touch, such as a handshake or a high five. But you are still close enough to the person that you can embrace or push away the person if you deem that necessary. Vocalization at this range is extremely important because you can tell through their vocal tone the emotion of the person. The fourth zone is the intimate distance. This is from 0 to 18 inches. Generally, the only vocalization at this range are whispers, grunts, and moans. The main way we communicate is through touch. Hall believes that in this range, people become emotionally connected, that the two people often experience the exact same emotion at the same time. Generally, this zone is saved for things like hugs and the more intimate relations between two people. An example of this would be like if a good friend of yours came up to you and you hugged them and then they started crying on your shoulder, you would probably become saddened with them because of that intimate touch. Evidence supports Hall's theory with the national contact and non-contact regions, but Hall's proxemic zones seem to be far too general. Hall only tested his theory among upper-class friends and admitted that ranges would differ depending on class, power, and gender, along with eye contact and a couple of other things. Proxemics researchers take this theory farther, making eye contact an extremely crucial part of the distances, saying that people distance themselves based on the amount of eye contact that they have with each other. This is how you can get onto an elevator and it's still a public place because no one makes eye contact with each other while they're on the elevator. But you can also have a more personal conversation with someone who is farther than 4 feet from you because you can make eye contact with that person. Along with this theory, Hall believes that an unexpected break into a closer zone is almost always deemed as a bad thing. But another theorist, Judy Burgoon, says that depending on whether or not the person is likable will depend whether or not you deem that as a good thing. So an example of this would be like if I just randomly came up to you and sat next to you and started having a personal conversation, if you thought I was a likable person, you would see this as being cool because I'm showing you that I find you as a likable person as well. But if you don't think I'm a cool person, then you think I'm a creep for coming too close to you. Overall, this theory is a little bit too general, but it is a good start, and it is important because it opened up a study in the field of communication that had been neglected up until that point in the later 19th century. And that is it.